personal thing, idea, or personality when it comes to news because for whatever reason, man, I think it's someone's opinion, and I think the news is kind of like it's a play on emotions in a sense more than it is just to inform. So I saw articles. I didn't even get a chance to read it, but it was a headline, and it said a school in Ukraine was bombed and 21 killed. And the first thing come to my mind is
why y'all in school? Why
I was in school in a war.
Well, and we up here crying about going to school in the snow.
Yeah.
But seriously though, like it was just I
They
know,
may have been just taking shelter, and they may not have actually been going to school. But
okay.
what do you always say? You don't know their.
And you don't, and that's why I like other people's perspective. I always say two heads are better than one because with you just stating that it broadened my understanding or my open-mindedness because I just couldn't fathom the thought from my initial reading. Why the hell people in school in a war? But now that you give me
How
your
can you
perspective,
focus?
I don't think it was your regular school day, especially after
Typical.
what your typical school day after, especially after what Zach just mentioned.
If
you
you're
know.
not serious about education, that's serious. I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm serious enough. I'm like during wartime, I have a
Yeah.
chance to get. But
Yeah.
you also don't know. So they had the whole tweet that went out yesterday. The Russian soldier who was, the Ukrainians were feeding him and allowed him to call his mom. But you don't know how much of that is just propaganda. You don't know how much of it's true. So you take it for what it is.
He was
It's okay.
POW?
No, he gave up to an entire like group of people who were feeding him and then letting FaceTime his mom, and he was crying.
With the Russian guy.
Yeah, the Russian
Right.
guy.
He didn't want to be over there.
Most of those guys don't. Most of
Right,
those
I
guys don't
believe
want to
that.
be there.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. Who wants to fight?
Who wants to die?
Well, who
wants
wants
to die? Who wants to kill somebody for nothing? You don't even, I bet you the soldiers don't even know why they're over there. It's like you just a pawn.
Well, we know for a fact that Putin is basically pushing out to his public, his version of the news. We're there because they're committing genocide, against the Russian people, and we know that for a fact. But in this day and age of Twitter, Facebook, everything else, a lot of the younger generations, which you're seeing the protest in Moscow, and you're seeing all of them fighting back. Even within Russia, they're like, what are you doing?
As if they don't agree with the war.
Right.
Yes.
But of course that gets shut down.
Are we getting the audio feed? You remember, because it usually shows the words, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You talking about this?
Okay.
Yeah, it's hearing us.
Okay.
Just making sure there's not another instance of Zach.
Yeah.
My heart went out to y'all because it was great.
We appreciate anybody who went back and actually watched
Right.
it. No doubt. But yeah, this news thing, man.
Well, and now they're referring things to The Hague. They're pushing
The Hague
war crimes. So The Hague is
Okay.
where they do all the Nazi war crime. If you commit a war crime, you go to The Hague, and it's basically the world court.
Okay.
I never heard of that before. Hague.
The Hague?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
The Hague, war crimes.
Hmm?
Who legislates war crime? Who makes these?
The UN. Well, I'm going to say that. I
Okay.
believe it's the UN. So the thing is that they tried to whatever Russia is part of the UN, but Russia has vetoes. So Russia literally vetoed whatever they were trying to do, which is when the secretary to the UN, Biden's secretary to the UN, basically tongue lashed. Russia saying, yeah, you may be able to veto, but you're not going to be able to stop the world from seeing what you're doing.
And I did see
Right.
something about that.
Yeah.
I did see something about that.
So, but if you commit a war crime, right, they can remove you, which means you can no longer
So
veto.
so
No
so
longer
go
veto.
back. So go back. So you saying that they was trying to stop everyone? Excuse me. You saying that they was trying to stop everyone else from seeing what was going over there? By was that why they were, trying to cripple their uh, internet services?
Oh yeah, I mean they're always, they're always anytime something like this happens, it doesn't matter who it is. They're
Right.
they're going to do their best not to let the world see what's actually going on.
Right.
So Russia has, kind of like North Korea, their internet's completely different because and same in China, which you get into a whole slew of crap because and actually let's do a better one that's very easy, you can very easily look at. So Facebook has been kicking people off of Facebook, for doing things, yet the leader of Iran can put some of the worst crap on Facebook, and they don't allow people to say things about them.
Really?
Yeah. So Facebook does that for Iran, but then everything else is like the wild wild. Yeah, they're going to, whether you're for or against abortion or whichever one they agree with, or if it's hateful or whatever the case may be, they're going to remove you from Facebook here, but they're going to allow, because they build Facebook around what that government will allow.
Okay,
So your money's more important than human rights.
all right, so let me understand. So
Oh
if I understand,
Same thing with Google in China.
So if I understand correctly, we'll take Facebook as a platform. Facebook is different throughout each country
Yes.
wow. Yeah.
and how it's legislated and operated.
Correct.
And
Requirement that they ask him.
okay, so the country itself
Yes.
has requirements
Yes.
to let the citizens partake.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So
Like he was saying with Google in China, they can't even pull that stuff up.
oh
Yeah, so Google basically regulates what you can and cannot search for in
really?
their country. Yeah.
Is it the same way here?
Nope.
You learn something every day. The plot thickens, but
Yeah, but if you're Google and you have a choice of whatever our population is and making the money that goes there, or the size of China's population, the money you would make there. Don't get me wrong. It's the fact that every time these companies pop up and talk about how, we're for human rights and everything else. Well, that can't be true. I mean, y'all are one of the major participants in holding down an entire country.
yes.
What is freedom in America? Nothing's gonna. I don't know. Some propaganda may come up, but nothing real is gonna come up.
Wow.
So
Wow.
back to the Russia thing. Again, you give the benefit of the doubt, but we also know the flip side of that, because that's a report coming from Ukraine. We know the flip side of that. Like you know, we have bombed things, and normally, like the last time we bombed a car full of kids and a dude. But we come out and say, but then there are instances that, we'll bomb something and be like, oh, well, that was a school. No, it wasn't. It was your headquarters, dumbass. It wasn't a school. So you have to be very mindful of what you see. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no doubt that they're indiscriminately just bombing crap. I mean, Putin is Hitler, and Ukraine is his version of the Jewish population. That's exactly what's happening right now.
So all this time, I'm thinking this war is about territory and how I want this for whatever type of
It is.
positioning, or is it the people?
It's all of it.
It's all of it.
It's every bit of it. It's
So
it's
I
a
want
culmination of you used to be part of Russia. I mean, we know because if you ever watch the deal about Chernobyl, the HBO thing about Chernobyl, the nuclear power plant that it was improperly built. They went to go put the rods back down. I guess it touched the side. Nuclear core ended up exploding. If you haven't seen Chernobyl on HBO, you really need to watch it.
I haven't seen that.
It's you're just sitting there going, they didn't do that. Oh my God, they did do that. What in the world?
So they made a boo-boo and killed themselves.
Well, not just that, but so a mistake was made, which was a default in the actual how the nuclear power plant was built. They were doing a test where you remove the rods, you put the rods back in, and basically it exploded. But the guy who led the whole thing was like, "Oh, it's nothing." So they called all these people in, fire departments, everything else, and there's chunks of graphite, which are basically, nuclear, irradiated nuclear whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there fighting fires, getting exposed to all this stuff. And the clouds, you got people out there just standing there.
And which country was this?
Well, so back then it was Russia.
Because didn't something like this happen in the last...
In Japan.
In Japan.
Okay, that was a tsunami that hit their nuclear deal, and it caused.
So how were the people affected? The firefighters and all that, all the people. What happened to them?
Death.
Immediate.
No. So I Googled it because I had already seen it, but she hadn't seen it, so we watched it again. It's actually a really good show.
Okay.
And I Googled, and basically, what it does, it breaks your. Imagine Ebola.
The virus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it just basically liquefies you.
Eats you.
And it takes days. I mean, it's and you can't have morphine because there's nowhere for it to go. It's not pumping through your system.
Really?
Who thinks of this shit? That's what? These weapons of mass destruction. Like, who sits around and thinks about this? How I can just kill somebody?
Well, we're the ones,
right?
The Manhattan Project. We're the ones who kicked this whole thing off, and the idea was, it has become what it is, and that is, it's a nuclear deterrent. Putin has come out and said, "Remember, I got nuclear weapons." And that's kind of one of those things where it's like, why the fuck are you saying that? Because even if he fires on us, it's over for him. There is no winning in a nuclear war.
Right.
You're going to bomb us. We're going to bomb you. Even if your bomb hits first, it's not going to matter.
Okay.
Because we're going to fire at you, and because all our shit's underground. You can't hit all however many thousands we have in the United States that are buried all over the U.S.
But don't they have like satellites that can, see that nuclear bomb go up and shoot it in the air type?
Well, we do have. So what was it? Star Wars or Star whatever that Reagan implemented. But I mean, that stuff goes into space and comes down so fast. There's not a ton. Yes, you may be able to shoot a few of them down, but that dude fires the 2,000. Let's see, how many nuclear bombs does Russia have?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Nukes does Russia have?
No one.
4,447 warheads. Right.
Basically like missiles.
Yeah, it's individual bullets for my gun. They have warheads for their...
You ain't got that many bullets.
No, I ain't got that many.
Your whole house would be full of bullets.
Hypothetically speaking, 4,000.
Yeah, and then of course, even if you hit us on the, let's say we hit Russia with, there's still submarines out there that now you got to find them,
and they have nuclear capabilities.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got tons. Yeah, we have tons of them. We have tons of subs that have nuclear warheads on them. But it's a lose-lose situation. The whole thing is a lose-lose.
It's a war, and it all turns into what is it, a cockfight. Yeah, who's biggest and who has the most power.
You ain't gonna be shit when it's over.
Nobody. Yeah.
China will take over the world. If nobody hits China, China will go in there and we'll all be speaking Mandarin or whatever. There's 2 different languages they speak.
All war. Everyone loses in war. I don't care.
Everybody loses.
And it's just sad, man. You know, I was just driving and I seen gas, $3.79. Like, even though I'm not there, everyone loses.
You lose.
But you do ask the question at that point of, if you have the capability, do you have the responsibility to help people?
Me, I'm gonna do it.
So I'll give you a good example. We did it horribly bad, but the Taliban in Afghanistan, you know, we had the ability and the capability to go in there. Now, how we did it, I disagree with. How we left, I disagree with. I mean, again, I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you had given those women the guns, they would have died before they gave up. Died. Because they're the ones who lost the most. But do we, if we know, you know, here you go, Vaughn. I got a great one for you. You see a guy, you see 2 guys, both of them, one of them's the size of Mafio, and the other dude is 20 years old. We'll call him 21 because he's at the bar. But he's a little big dude. And he's trying to throw his hands up and give up.
You mean like smaller than Mafia?
Yeah. Like,
Hey, cut it out.
but you get so, and you see him picking, and the little guy's trying to get out of it. Do you, because you have the capability, do you say, hey man, come on, you really gonna beat up on that little big dude?
What, you mean someone smaller than me?
I'm just using you as a size.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand.
Not you. I don't want to get into that one.
No.
But I'm talking just a smaller guy, and you just see a guy bullying a guy.
Okay. Okay.
That depends.
No guns, no. You know he's not some. It's a white dude. He ain't no gangster. He ain't no nothing. Worse. He ain't no gangster. He ain't no. Oh, fine. He's a Hispanic guy. But yeah.
Physical. And yeah, just really depends. Yeah, I probably would. Especially if somebody's, you know, whether they verbally bullying somebody, and I think it's more so of the physical imposing.
And that's what I'm talking about. The physicals. Like, he's pushing him and slapping him in the face. And dude ain't doing nothing. He's trying to.
And we're at a bar?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the bar's responsibility.
Yeah.
Hey,
but you get my point. If
I do get, yeah.
We have the capability,
if they got to scrapping, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think I'm so hands off now, man. You don't never know what people are going to do. I don't know why.
That's why. But okay. So, but in a country, why do we always got to go into that? If we're in a country and we see people, do we have a responsibility as a country to assist?
I don't know, man. I mean, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it. For black people, we always been the gap thrown into stuff. You know what I'm saying? We was just playing with our lions and stuff, and they pulled us into this shit. And I just really think, man, like,
and with eucalyptus and
just playing around, and we was okay being naked, you know. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think my time here on Earth and what I've seen with my own eyes, I think anything that comes to enforcing and the possibility of police coming in, I think we step our ass away.
All right, so
yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's all I think about. That's all I think about. It's like, nah, I ain't getting in that.
Did you ever see that movie Red Dawn? Russia.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so Russia invades the United States, but let's just say, because they say that Texas is one of the most vulnerable to be invaded because of Mexico. So let's just say that Mexico.
Well, hell, it was Mexico, right?
Huh?
It was Mexico.
So they did it together. So it was Russia and Mexico basically joined forces and invaded the southern half. So now let's
Really?
say that happened, right?
Okay.
You don't think anybody that has the capability to help you should help? Or
Help Texas?
Yes.
I don't know. They ain't gonna be after us. They gonna, they ain't gonna be after us. They gonna be after your people. They ain't fucking with us.
Tell me this: who would,
Everybody.
who would have the capability to help Texas? Just give me an example of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Canada?
okay.
You saying
Canada has
just?
to
Are
do
you
some-
saying
and, I
just
mean-
Texas and if Texas wasn't a part of everything else? You mean?
No. Like if they invaded all the way up to right above Dallas and somebody, I mean, we're getting into the parts of it that don't really matter. My point being, does
I think we're gonna get some help, but I don't even know, man. If they came over here, I just don't think they'll be fucking with me. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think we were ever even counted on the board. That's what's so funny.
I can't
about
give a scenario that's gonna
Right, man.
I mean, the point
right,
being, I
like-
believe that if we have the capability, we have the responsibility.
Like Muhammad Ali said, "What the Viet Cong done did to me?
That's
He
not
did
what he
nothing.
said.
He
It's
said
not
they
what
ain't
he
called
said.
me no nigga.
They
That
ain't
is
called me
what
no
he
nigga.
said.
That's exactly. Well, you know what I'm saying?
And
So,
even if they did, I'm still not trying
I'm
to
not
fight
going
no war.
over there.
And
Yeah,
he
Man.
had, and the Vietnam War was a completely, that was, most people don't realize that, like North Korea and what happened between Korea and the U.S. supporting South Korea, they don't realize that was really a battle between China and the U.S.
By way
of North Korea.
See, that's bullshit.
But the same thing was happening in Vietnam. So it was basically a war between the US and China of sorts, because China didn't, countries like China and like Russia now, who say they're a democracy, who aren't actually.
Nah.
And China is
Really?
not a democracy. They don't want to see these other countries that are like them, Iran, they don't want to see them fall and then show that democracy works.
Right.
They don't want it to happen.
Right.
So if they can be
You want
like,
your people to have the
they can be
blinders
like,
on.
here's some missiles, dude.
Right.
Man, that's game banging at his back.
Yeah. But we're trying to be in the new. Did you hear about that Manning kid who's
With the
quarterback?
son?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been hearing about him for a while.
But he's the son of neither one of the ones who
No.
actually made it to the NFL.
He's the son of the oldest brother.
The
That didn't play.
comedian.
Yeah. He's pretty funny, man.
He's pretty good. But
Yeah.
his son, there's a little bit of news.
What's his name? Arch Manning. Yeah.
Arch Manning. I saw that.
After
this
the
Yeah.
father, huh?
Huh?
After the grandfather.
After the grandfather,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
the grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's up with this kid?
I think was he a senior in high school, maybe?
Yeah, he's the number 1 ranked high school quarterback recruit for the class of 2023. Arch Manning has officially narrowed his extensive college search down to 6 schools.
Man, he got some heavy shoes to
I
fill.
wonder
Yes,
what
he
state
does.
is he in?
Mississippi. Gotta be.
Mississippi.
Or Louisiana one.
Shit,
Is it
tell him go
Louisiana?
down there to the HBCU where Dion at. You know what I'm saying?
Boy,
I like to
He's
see
white, so I don't know how
It
well
ain't
that's going.
happening.
I don't think
to
he's gonna
see
get
him
an
play down
offer.
there.
It
goddamn
ain't
it.
happening.
Dion to give him a shot. You don't think?
Absolutely he will, but
Of
I don't think
course.
that's happening.
New Orleans, yeah. He's in
In
New Orleans.
Yeah,
Okay.
Louisiana. Yeah, I just don't think that's happening.
Yeah, he's not going to an HBC.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with HBCU?
Ain't nothing wrong, but they don't really.
That-
Well, you want to talk about your kind? They don't really accept my kind.
yes, you
My
do.
kind? My kind is human beings.
Yeah.
So you are.
But
my
you're my kind. As soon as we got invaded by Russia and Mexico, we're no. I'm not with him.
I just can't fathom the thought of wrapping my mind around this whole war thing, man. I mean, I think it's just senseless. It's
Yeah, I'm just
I
trying
think
to.
it's personally derived from a small group.
But
of
Ukraine
people.
didn't start this war.
I mean, any war, man.
No. But you can't just say so. Should the Ukrainians just lay down and said, "All right, come on"?
No, I'm not
No, I'm
saying that just
saying,
lay down. I'm just saying the whole idea and thought of creation. And I know it go way back to the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, and all those. But just the whole idea, how you just gonna
Yep.
take over,
But
man?
there's
You know
yeah,
what I'm
always
saying?
one
Like,
party that doesn't want to be there,
but I mean, but regardless, like
which is Ukraine right
the
now.
whole
They don't
idea,
want to be here.
the whole
who
idea of just taking over. Like, I feel like I
who
want
told
that
you you
shit.
can do that?
You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
He
Like,
told him he could do
yeah.
that.
That's what I'm saying. What makes you think you could just say Hey, I'm just trying to figure out where in people do we get that that impulse to say, hey, I think I want that. That don't belong to you. I don't know where that comes from. And just the thought of the men that's in power that's doing it. And you're not playing with the people in your family. You taking other people's family and throwing them out there and and getting them killed. And they don't even know what they fighting for. We just over there. You heard several stories and horror stories about troops and even our troops. They don't even know why they over there. You just throw me in the middle of
yeah,
nowhere,
yeah.
and we're fighting this cock war.
Well, and you would said something the other day. How are we going? How are we going about? When we talked about sanctions,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but massive sanctions. Just some crazy shit's been going on the past like yesterday.
And again, I still don't understand these sanctions, bro.
Homeboy got his super yacht seized by France.
Who's that? Putin's?
No. So what they're doing is they're sanctioning the oligarchs, the billionaires, the richest of the rich in Russia.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes,
they
yes.
seized Homeboys. It's the largest yacht in the world. That boy, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. But
Not oligarchy.
um,
Wow.
this is so
They don't give
supposedly
a shit about war.
this dude's plane got seized.
The
It's
same
the
guy?
largest private plane in the world.
This is the same guy?
I think it's either the same guy or a guy just like him.
What the fuck are you going in that plane? And better yet, who owned it?
Any fucking
It's-
place you want.
Right, he's
So
taking cars with him too. Look how big that motherfucker is.
I don't know. Yeah, you've seen the movie. What is that? Where the 12 days or whatever, where they have to get in the boats. They thought they were going up in spaceships, but it was really boats. But yeah, your cars can go. I mean, those things are.
I need to come over here for movie night. I'm not cultured enough.
yeah,
I got a little bit too much boys in the hood in my repertoire.
so
But the
far
plane
as-
that got seized is actually better than Putin's. They say is bigger and nicer than Putin's.
so this whole seizure and sanctions and all this, does this have something to do with Russia expanding their financial resources or networks?
Well, when the USSR collapsed, a ton of billionaires were made almost instantaneously
Okay.
because basically the mobs and gangs and whatever, basically took advantage of it. Just like if we nuked each other, we'd all become China, right? Same example,
Okay.
because they would have all
Spoils
the
of
power,
war. type
right?
shit.
So that is basically what they got. They went in there and they took over, and they're all rich as rich gets.
Now, who does the seizure?
Countries.
Which ones?
England seized some stuff. France has seized. I think France seized the yacht.
Well, how do you?
I mean,
what made them seize that?
yeah.
I mean,
If
yeah,
you're in
but-
their waters, you're done.
Oh, okay. So his boat was in somebody else's territory.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they were in a quote
Now I
unquote
get it.
no sail zone, or
No, I mean, we have off the East Coast and off the West Coast of the United States, those are our waters before you get into international waters.
Mhm.
So obviously, if you're in that, they can do whatever they want. They can.
And they seized it because of their actions on
The
Ukraine.
sanctions.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And obviously, the
go
idea
ahead
is
and
for
tug
them
your
to,
balls.
get Putin out of office. But then the news, we've also heard that, Russia, Putin has kind of isolated himself away from these oligarchs. So it's going to be, but it would not be surprised if in the next month or so you saw, Putin assassinated by fucking somebody.
I'm surprised he hasn't up to this point.
He's not around enough people.
He stays. He's got the little
Isolated.
Osama bin Laden
And,
going on.
and little No, he's not hiding like that, but he's got massive. What used to be the KGB is now the FSB. He's got mass. I mean, you see pictures of him now. He's
What is that
completely
like? The
surrounded.
CIA or something for him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oligarchs, is that a term used for people with a lot of money, like aristocrats and things like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be like, yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. So
I don't know the full, but
Uber rich.
oligarchs are basically like lords and ladies of England, I guess.
Yeah.
They have no
Yeah.
real true power except the power of influence.
by way of their
Money.
financial. Okay. Yeah.
We deal with that in the US.
Oh, yes. So okay, go ahead.
The have
But
and
they
have.
but they were kind of born into that, right?
No,
No.
most of them are fucking criminals.
Oh, I would like to think most of them are.
Wow.
Yeah, most of them are fucking criminals.
It's a damn shame. Sometimes this world can make you fucking hate it. You know what I mean? It can make you really, really hate what's going on here, man. Because there's so much that happened and so many different stories and narratives have been told, and you can really just be completely left in the dark about what's going on. And do you ever really know the truth? You know, we've been being programmed since we've been here. And growing up in the United States, we exposed to so much propaganda that we actually believe that we're the fucking good guys. You know what I mean? You know, and we have all this pride and like nobody's better than America and blah 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 blah. We waving the flag and to somebody else that's overseas, we're a piece of fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I feel that way about another country because nobody has came over here and been able to do the stuff that we have to them on the other end. And it's just something else. Man, you literally can sit up and watch different documentaries and change how you feel when they say, or when you say the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. It's like, you dirty motherfucker, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm a part of the country, but there's also this other side of the country
Oh yeah.
that's fucking dirty, and we're not all the fucking same because you don't represent me. You know what I mean? So if you don't represent me, you represent what you like. I think for most of us that are down at the bottom, if you want to say, I think we actually care about other people, and then you have this this other side of people that's on the other side. They don't give a fuck about anybody.
And I would agree to a lot of that. I have done some work in some really nice houses,
Right.
and I'm always amazed at the tiers of money.
Right.
And so I did a house. It's football field long, 5 stories tall. Belonged to her husband, was famous, who passed away. One of the nicest people you would ever meet. If you were at her house, like we used to go in the mornings to do work, you had to sit down and have champagne breakfast. Right. Now, after the first champagne breakfast, we were all.
And her husband died?
Yeah, he died before I met her.
Sound like she was grooming you.
No.
Wait a minute, isn't that what it was?
I'm listening.
It was me and Jake.
I'm listening.
But after the first champagne, after the champagne breakfast, the first one, we were like, I can't do that.
Okay.
And but one of the nicest people you'd ever meet in your life. And
you said after the first one you couldn't do it. Why?
The champagne breakfast nonstop and work. No thanks.
Yeah, I get it.
But very, very nice, extremely nice lady. If she was having a party, you were invited.
What I see,
nice
Eartha
person.
Kitt from Boomerang. Yeah.
Actually, here I got
so
we're not going to say her name.
Zach,
but.
you mentioned something that I want to make sure I understand. Tiers of money. What did you mean by tiers of money?
God damn it.
So there she is. Don't say her name. We're not.
Okay. Eartha Kitt. Oh, she ain't half bad looking.
No, she was very good looking, but it wasn't. I mean, that wasn't the deal. But
Tears of money.
so she fell under the got more money than any human being. Nicest person you ever meet.
Okay.
The clients I have in South Lake, Jeff went out there and he goes, "Oh, they're not
Oh.
gonna be upset that I'm black or anything, right?"
Right.
And when he came back or afterwards, he was like, "Man, that was the nicest lady. She was out there helping me." He's like, "I never expected her to." And I'm like, "Yeah, she's." So you have the people like that. And to give an example, Jake and I went to do an install, and the guy was a complete dick. It was in South Lake. He had a nice house, whatever the case may be. But when we left, he goes, "I don't know why that guy was such an asshole." I said, "I don't know." He goes, that guy's house wouldn't even fit in all of Flora's garages. And I thought, well, that actually is true.
So tears of money of throughout society, you mean?
Well, not just that. So we have people who don't have money. We have people who have a little bit of money that are usually a little bit more sensible. And then you have the people that are
Classism.
you have the
Yeah,
people that are
okay.
right in the middle between, I'm doing good and I'm happy with where I'm at, and then the people who are trying to get up here who are just dicks, who think that that's how you're gonna, that's how it works.
Okay.
And I've seen them time and time again. Most of the time they're in so much debt. It's like comparing Dallas to Fort Worth. Fort Worth has money, like money. They're not paying. It's not a credit card thing.
Yeah.
They have money. So you ask them to pay you, they're not going to. You want cash, check, or credit card?
Okay.
They don't care which one.
Yeah.
Because you come to Dallas, it's check.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's credit card. They're gonna have to put it on credit card because they have to pay it back later. But people out there, I got enough cash. I got, and we're talking $8,000 systems.
I get you now.
Cash check. How do you want it? They have it in the bank. In other words.
Okay. So getting back to your point before.
Just the different tiers, and I think that I think you're right in a sense in some levels. I don't believe that we should, nobody's like you. We're all like you. I cut you open. If I need a heart and you get into a car accident and you're brain dead, your heart, if we're a blood match, your heart will work in me. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So getting to the point to where we all are on that same, there's no reason. You shake your head.
I just think.
By the way, have you heard about? I sent you this in a text message. Did you hear about the cop?
I did.
He got arrested. They finally got. He's turned himself in.
Who is this?
That's that article I sent you that he got in trouble for.
Oh yeah, I forget the term that they use, but using your power as a officer.
Official oppression.
Official oppression. Yes.
Well, you kind of like to what? To skim off the top?
No.
Because I'm a cop, I'm about to pick this woman up, and I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Yeah, go ahead.
And make her perform sexual favors.
Right.
Because
official oppression involves an accusation that a public servant has used his position to mistreat someone or to deny them of their rights.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Leverage it.
I told you, man, it's coming.
What's coming?
They're going to stop tolerating all these cops. There's too many people.
Keep scrolling through that and just think about these are some of the things that
I read this whole. Why do I need to scroll? I read it. I'm the one who sent it to you.
Because I want to point these points out. The amount of time it took them to prosecute. On top of that, what else was it? I have to turn myself in. I'm sorry. He had to turn himself in. Didn't turn himself in. Then they put a warrant out for him.
No.
Read it.
He is turning himself in on Wednesday.
Bro, I'm not getting that. Let me disrespect somebody in any form or fashion. They coming at me.
I'm with you on that. Okay. So now you're talking about, so they basically it's an indictment. So they indicted him and then he found out about the indictment and turned himself in. So it'd be the same thing that, if you're talking about getting busted in the heat of the moment, which is not what happened here. Somebody filed a report that he did this to them, and then they took it before the grand jury or whatever the case may be. The charges were created. Now is where we're talking about the difference. They would come in and kick your door down
No
They
question.
would kick my door down.
No question.
But they would turn around and basically say, hey, could you come turn yourself in, and what day would work best for you?
And don't worry, you still get
Right.
your administrative pay. I mean, you're on administrative
and
leave,
that is
and you're still getting paid.
but my point to this was, it's a process,
It's
just
a
like
change.
anything.
It's a change.
It's a change.
The blue wall's coming down.
So
the
who
blue
was-
line
who-
ain't coming down. The
so
blue
who
line
was
ain't
this
coming
guy?
down.
You just throwing
Don't get
shit at
bent.
it.
Don't get bent. I think the
Okay.
blue wall is going to change. So, for example, I think, and again, we've said this, and I don't want to continue to be repetitive on this
No doubt.
podcast, but I think we are going to get to a point to where, if you're a cop and you do that, you are now a criminal. You're no longer a cop. So, the New York cop who hit the guy, did you see the video?
Hit the guy.
So there was an incident in New York. There were like 3 police cars and, the SUVs they have and whatever's going on over here. And then I guess this guy said something to the cop, and the cop hit him.
Yes.
They
yes,
turned
I
his ass
remember.
around, put
Yes.
his ass in handcuffs, and arrested him on the spot. But
yes,
that is where
yes.
the flip happens compared
They
to
did
this.
it to the cop.
Yeah,
put
they
him in
arrested
there?
The cop.
They immediately arrested him.
Yeah, the sergeant
Assault.
like put him in cuffs.
Yep.
Oh
They
wow!
arrested his
How
ass
long
for
ago was
assault.
this?
A couple months ago.
Really?
Yep.
On the spot. It was no.
Nope. There is no, because that is an immediate thing that happened.
Uh,
What happened here, and I do agree with what you're saying, is the difference between this
Right.
guy and him is
Right.
they're going to kick down our door. They're going
Right.
to call this call. Unions have seen the end of their time, because now they're being used to, protect 2 guys who go get drunk and smoke weed and go back and start,
right.
working in a factory. They get fired. The union fights, gets them rehired. The union helps police officers do their, and that is, these police departments fear these unions, thinking, well, shit, we better have all of our ducks. I mean, look how long it took for them to charge the dude in Minnesota on George Floyd. If that would have been
Ridiculous.
any of us, we'd have been arrested on the spot. 5
Yeah,
seconds
it's
later, we would have been arrested.
Ridiculous.
But they, and then what did they
They've been
do?
used,
They
they've been
gave him
used for the wrong stuff.
They
so.
gave him a small charge first and then big. And we know the district attorneys don't do that. What they do is they shoot for the moon. And then they turn around
and make you plead.
and they make you plea for a lesser charge.
Hey, I'm trying to contain myself.
No, but you don't have to contain yourself. The point is
listen,
that this is where
listen.
we're at.
This is bullshit, bro.
How is it bullshit? They're finally fucking doing something. My point is you gotta keep your foot on the pedal.
Okay,
That's
so
not bullshit.
this blue wall, bro, is protecting.
Okay, but you're not gonna.
Okay,
It's like the Berlin Wall. It took
my
us
job.
40 fucking years to get it down.
I'm union. Okay, I'm union at my job. You mean to tell me I'm gonna go out here and commit a criminal act?
Yeah, wrong union though.
Here
Wrong
we go.
kind of union.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
So
Unless
don't-
you have a arrest clause in your union.
Yeah, you was at the credit union. Yeah, you the wrong union.
But the same example happens.
You at Gabrielle union. Yeah, that ain't the same.
If you're on site,
on social media.
no, but it does help you in this. If you're on site and you're driving a vehicle and you run over some guy's toe, it's your union's responsibility to protect you
I
from
get
that lawsuit.
I get that.
So
but
that
my
that
act
is
not criminal. That's
Uh,
the difference. That's
actually
the difference.
they most of the time when an accident happens like that, they try to get you, because it's more money, they try to get you for criminal negligence. So for example, if you're driving whatever, I'm a lift.
Another loophole
you-
in the game.
No, but it's I mean, what happens if it happens to you?
I mean, shit, it's an accident, man. Come on, man. Get me right, and let's get back to business. Give me a new
So
toe.
you don't
Give me a
sue.
new foot. You know, they got all that shit, bro. I would take that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not caught up in this world and money, man. It's all this money and this power and this people think they something bigger than they are. And that's why we fucked up out here. I'm sorry. Well, that's why we fucked up out here, yo. You know what I'm
So
saying?
do not, but I always go back. You always want to say it, but then what do you do about it?
It's money.
I mean, what the
money,
hell
power,
can
and
you do about
You
it?
can get out
positioning.
there and do the same thing that you're supposed to be doing. I mean, it's happening. It's not the greatest deal, but at least the dude's
So-
getting arrested.
So what happened to the guy who they turn around and put in cuffs? What's the update on that?
I heard. I didn't never. Heard
And my
that.
second part to that is if they do start doing cops like this, which they are, it seems like we going in a progression. Maybe not fast enough, but it does seem to be progressing. My question is to you guys: do you think that that's going to affect the recruitment of cops and people who actually want to be in law enforcement? Do you think it's going to affect those numbers?
I do
Yes.
not.
Oh, it does.
I do not.
They're already seeing it now. They're so desperate for cops right now. They had the retirement, which I'm all for. These old dudes that want to retire because they don't want to get caught
They
up
got
in what the
grandfathered.
new
Yeah,
police
they-
department's going to be, and that's fine. All you dirty ass habit sons of bitches, go ahead and get on out of here. Nobody needs you.
Uh-huh.
You know, because they're basically fearful that what they're used to doing is going to end them up in jail. You know, we're
Or
used to
some what
arrest-
you did is going to come up like
Or
like
the
what
way
happened,
they
what happened
police.
with that girl
Yes,
and
a lot of
snitching on
stuff
that
going.
dude for that chokehold.
Shit.
What was that?
Said somebody got choked to death. I mean, somebody got put in a choke.
Yeah, she stopped. We already talked about it, the lady cop who got fired,
Oh yeah.
but now she got her full pension
yeah.
back, dude. You know,
And see, and again, I like take all these instances where you're saying we're getting better, it's a work in progress, and you take the police and you put them behind this blue wall. All those instances is like throwing fucking
He still gets his due process. You
man,
know,
it's not the process I would get.
right?
So
That's
it's
what I'm
you
different.
get
saying.
the same. Once he's arrested, you get the same. The only difference between you and him is you got to bail yourself out, and they end up bailing him out.
Okay, and
So
then
his union will bail
and
him
then
out.
you get to the sentencing aspect. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me I could walk in somebody's house thinking it's my crib, kill him,
Kill him in his house.
and I'm getting anything less than 20? I'm getting
You killed that man
and that's
in his
far-fetched.
house,
And that's
in his own place.
and I'm getting anything less than 20.
And that's my and that I again
I'm getting anything less
getting
than 20.
repetitive. The moment you take off that, you should have to take off that uniform, stow that gun at the police department, because when you walk out those doors, you are not a police officer.
Mhm.
And that is something I think we all should fight for. That you don't put on that uniform until you walk in that door and you clock in. You clock in, you get dressed, you grab
that
your
was a good point.
issued gun, you put it in your holster, you go out and do your job. At the end of your shift, you come back, you take that uniform off, you take that police issued gun, you put it in the damn
Right.
deal, you shut it up. The moment you walk out those
The
doors,
moment you clock out, you're not a cop.
you are not a cop.
Yeah, you're not a cop.
You can't work part-time at a club with your police uniform on, because you are not on the clock. Now, if you want to have a security shirt on, you can be the security. I'm fine with that, but you are not a cop. I am fed up with you see apartment complexes, and I'm all for the idea that because they still have the right to legally carry. They still have the complete right to legally carry. And I'm fine with that. But remember, you shoot fucking somebody, you are a citizen. There is no union bailing you out. There is no nothing. You want to live in an apartment complex and work as security so you can get money off of your deal? I am 100% good with that. Because most of the time you can get on a radio and get a cop 10 times faster than our standard security officer. But no more uniforms outside of when you're punched in that clock.
Okay, and that is beautiful. I love that idea and that concept. I love it. But at the same time, take that same example of that cop that goes to work, okay, and kills someone. And this ain't in no line of duty. This is because they at work. At the end of the day, they're still a human being. You mean to tell me that same person can be considered for anything less than 20 years? I don't get it, bro.
I still have looked for that law, and I have not found a law that basically says their maximum they can get is 10 years. I think that's
It's not the maximum they can get. The point is, if they get less than 10 years in one day, they can be out in 2.5 years. If they get
it doesn't
10 years-
happen. I'm not going to tell you why it doesn't happen, but I'm going to tell you it doesn't happen.
What doesn't happen?
The state of Texas doesn't. It doesn't. Again, those who know me just know.
Yeah.
It's yes, you can be up for parole. I've had a friend who's locked up right now for shooting a guy and beating up 3 off-duty police officers, and they tried to charge him with assault of a peace officer, which you can't. You know, they ended up getting dropped down to not simple assault, but assault. And he didn't start it, but he was guilty of the other thing, so he let it go. My point to that is he was up for parole. He got 15 years. He was up for parole in 2 years, but it doesn't matter. We're at 10 years and he's still in there. Just because you come up for parole doesn't mean they're going to let your ass out.
This is a cop.
No, but my point is how the system works.
Okay.
They don't just let. Matter of fact, in Texas, if you have if they stamp you aggravated, you're going to do 3/4 of your time. You might as well just yes, you're going to come up for parole, and they're going to rubber stamp that thing and say nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Now, this standard I'm referring to is for police officers.
There is no standard. Show me what is the law.
I'm gonna get back to you on that. I'm gonna do my due diligence, and I'm gonna get this information. 10 years versus 10 years in one day, and the time that is mandatory with that.
Well, it's just like in Texas, you don't want to get odd numbers.
Well, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't want
you would rather get 4 years than 3 years, 6 years than 5 years.
I don't want no years of nobody telling me. I don't want.
My point is that I don't know if is there an understanding, is the parole board, and then so that's not a police reform, because a matter of fact, we're gonna rewind that. Them getting out of prison has absolutely nothing to do with the union. It has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with the parole board, because once you're in, the only jurisdiction over you is a parole board. Nobody else has jurisdiction over you.
I get that. And my point is, regardless of who's in control over it, I do the same crime a police officer do, and we don't get the same sentence.
I don't know. You need to go into somebody's apartment and shoot them. We'll find out. I'm not laughing at but my point is,
wouldn't see him no more.
Yeah,
I'm sure
let's
I
see
would
what
get,
that test is.
And he black too. He done.
Well, no, and you have the example in Fort Worth. Kid, vehicular manslaughter, gets 10 years in prison. One person, white kid who was too rich to know better, gets probation. No, not same crime. That white kid's was four times. He killed four people.
Okay, yeah. But
he killed 4 people. Home dude only killed 1 person, got 10. Same judge, same everything.
What you mean you don't know better? He had the top education.
Who did? He didn't know not to drink and drive and murder 4 people.
Right.
He was cultured into it. His mom gave him the drinks.
Don't matter. So your dad hands you a 40. Now you're cultured into it.
A 40 cal or a 40 ounce?
Both
There
simultaneously.
you go. Yes, that's
You
a
Here's
just-
this, and in case anybody comes up to the
drinking
porch, here's
the
that.
Magic
where I
Craig.
come from. They call that a setup.
Yeah. Yeah, give me 2 cups.
Give me a setup.
Get 2 cups and some ice too. Set up $5.
Nah, but nah, it's just I don't know, man. Like I can't pledge allegiance or associate myself with so much shit in this world outside of being a human being, man.
You can't pledge your allegiance to what you want it to be and then actively work to make it something that, not the Pledge of Allegiance, but you don't think you don't have, I have a dream. You don't have a dream that this country could become what you want it to be. No?
Absolutely not.
I don't.
I
You
think
really don't?
no. I think we're so far behind. You get, first of all, you gotta catch up them 400 years first. I don't know how you get past that. That's the thing. Because
So do you ever think in the
I'm
future?
thinking from an economic
Okay.
standpoint. There's no way you can take it. Even if we did have reparations, we're so far behind as far as land and money and economic opportunities. It would have to that would take some people giving up stuff. You know what I mean?
But do you think it could happen? Not in your lifetime, but in 100 years from now.
Not unless Putin and them drop that
Not
bomb.
Putin.
Drop that bomb. We start all over. They're about,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I think so. Some people feel like they should always remain at the top, and they don't see it. Like anything was done wrong.
So, yeah. Well, but how do you? So, if there's absolutely no opportunity, then how have we had black billionaires? Nobody let them do it.
No.
Nobody let the founder of Fubu do what he did and create that. Nobody allowed the hedge fund manager that's looking at buying. Nobody handed the Will Smith movie happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Nobody did that for him. He did that. So if it's not there, I mean, and it's not like everybody can do what some of these people have done. Nobody's saying that, but we each have our opportunity, and it's about sacrificing. I've known a couple of black doctors. I mean, they paid for their own way. They didn't have scholarships. They didn't go to Harvard, but yet he was one of the best.
Well,
as
a whole, as an entirety, from the things I've seen with my eyes and working in the neighborhoods that I've worked in the school system, and all the stuff that the neighborhoods that are similar to those that have all those factors that are going in. As long as you have most of your, people incarcerated in single parent homes and teenage pregnancy and drugs in your neighborhood and illiteracy, that's gonna be tough, man.
But it takes a community. I mean, you look at Mafio's childhood. I mean, he even admitted it.
But he had a community. We worse off now.
But we should. I mean, but that's my point. Is making. I mean, we need to start pushing that community. I want us to be a little bit of helping some change going on here. So
I get it, bro.
I think we can make
trying.
some change, but I think ideally the way that we wanted to be equal all the way around and everybody be able to see things from a level playing ground. I don't know if we're gonna ever get to that point.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. We can make some good strides here and there, but from what I've seen and the damage that everything, the damage that started way back then to what it looks like now, it looks different, but I can see the way that it affects the next generation of children that's in school and in these neighborhoods. Man, they don't see things the way that we do. They look at things totally different from the way we look at them. And without grandmothers and fathers being around and people around to pass on that knowledge for most of these kids, and you got to think about it. they're doing it without religion now. So you take religion out of that, these kids. I think that's why we have so many kids that's committing full blown crimes now. You used to be scared that you could have that hovering, the afterlife hovering over your head. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to, do this and that. These kids don't even have that mechanism anymore. So they're not afraid to die. They're not afraid to die at 15 years old or 20 years old. And it's a direct result of not having people there and having drugs and stuff in your neighborhood and not having a community, man. So with me seeing that stuff, I just think some of the dreams that, Dr. King talked about and other people who fought for civil rights, I mean, they probably rolling around in their grave looking at some of this stuff that we're doing now.
And just to touch on a couple points you made, like these kids, they have no regard for life.
None.
But think about all the influences that they do have.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? What's the video game where everybody play online, the shooting?
Call of Duty.
You see what I'm saying? Then
not that I play it anymore.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And see
World of Warcraft though, they'd be shooting shit at people.
And then I think about
it's fantasy.
I think about probably about 30 years ago, probably 35 years ago, there was a president that didn't show you his right hand, didn't show you what his left hand was doing, in my opinion. Talking about he had a war on drugs, but he got them.
He was the worst
drugs
president.
in. You know what I'm saying? Then he talking
about Reagan.
Hey, come on, man. Let's put it out there, bro. Let's put it out there.
I just remember, not to cut you off, but I just remember. I remember how blind we were then. I remember how happy we was that Reagan was in. He was in office, and I remember the commercials as a kid. And not knowing all this stuff that,
the Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah, he put all that stuff in place.
Well,
man, and even Clinton too. They had some fucked up policies, dude.
It was a loop around.
These policies, man.
So
these policies tore America ass up. They tore up our neighborhoods,
broke
dude.
everything down. It broke that community down that I grew up in. I used to grow up, man. I would see drug dealers, man, bro, they call it a soup line. Over 100 people standing in line, police drive past and everything, but because they wasn't, even though they were selling drugs, but because it was orderly, it was cool. Fuck out of here, man. You understand what I'm saying? And so then you got all the drugs. I mean, outside all the drugs on his war on drugs, he putting all the drugs in. They bringing all these big ass guns in here. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of these kids who don't respect life right now, their fathers and their grandfathers was the one who really, you know what I'm saying, started getting these big ass guns back 15, 25 years ago. And now it's like, okay, I want to be like my uncle. I want to be like my dad. And it's a domino effect. And I'm just speaking from the world I come from.
And I got you.
Small, minute part.
But I also, again, I agree. We need to, just like recognizing what happened, teaching slavery, teaching what happened, teaching how it started, teaching how it ended, teaching how the Jim Crow era. I believe all of that should be taught to give context to where we are now.
Yeah, okay. for understanding.
Right. And by doing that, we need to do the same thing. We need to teach. I mean, it's U.S. history. If you don't think it is, you're an idiot. The crack epidemic, the Iran-Contra affair, what we did in Afghan torture, all of those things, because by learning from our past, we can make a better future. And that is what I feel us talking about things is going to move us towards. We need to make sure that the blue wall becomes a blue picket fence. It's easy to step over. And that if one of those blue shielded bastards commits a crime, remember, they belong on the other side of that blue shield. I agree that if a police officer is doing his job and something happens, that's a different deal.
Right.
But if a police officer commits a crime, I don't understand. Well, I'm not going to say I don't understand. That they need to be kicked off the other side of that shield. And so that's what we want from People's Rebuttal. We got our time going here. Man, we appreciate you joining us.
Okay, because I was going to go. Let's
go.
Well,
we got warmed up at the end.
It's cool.
Let's get, we can go back to it at a later date. I mean, it's really not an issue. I'm all for it.
8 seconds.
I'm gonna give you 8.
So real quick, like we talk about all these walls, and I don't think that is possible until we knock out all walls and we all surrounded
But
by
it's not
one
possible
wall
until you
and
think it's
everyone is
possible.
equal.
But
But I'm
it's not
just saying
I
it's
mean,
not going to happen until then. But that's my 8 seconds, and we'll say
The
that for another one.
transparency, huh?
Yeah, man. If everybody not equal.
thank you guys.